public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public face. Then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear in the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Baratans too. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. Fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US.
Persons can do so peacefully, and they can, but blocking the road for hours is something that
Mr. Ali, I saw you block your road. Yes, Mr. Ali.
I'm just telling
Mr.
you.
Ali, there are videos with you protesting, you being a scrape and a tug. Mr. Ali, this is not, listen, sometimes we gotta put our position. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public face. Then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear in the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up.
That's what the police do. The police got me! The police got me! The police got me! The police got me! And I got
that is saying 7 feet 6 inches, 5 feet 5 inches. If you look at it, right? They're saying 5'5". They're saying 7'6". They're saying 8 feet. So for 8 feet is reasonable depth for a pool. So you would have to go in and check in the pool, right? The young lady is not in the pool. So it could be ruled out that she drowned.
All right, so the headline there, as you see, is cover up or not? That's the question, cover up or not? Is the installed regime of Guyana attempting to cover up the murder of this little girl, Adriana Young? That's the question. Lots of you are looking for answers. And I think it's pretty obvious that the government or officials of the installed government of Guyana are attempting to cover this thing up. And as a result of that, they want to go after individuals, probably running away with a little stove, a little old toilet that probably doesn't work, and all manner of things. They are diverting their attention. They are hootsing their dogs, so to speak, in the Guyana police force to go after individuals, to make it look as though they are clamping down and they're all about law and order. They're not about law and order. It's more about intimidation, wanting to intimidate individuals, go after them, charge the ordinary man and woman, say, oh, acts of terrorism, all manner of things. It's a scare tactic that's being used, that's being applied by the corrupt government of Guyana. and they're using the police force elements, corrupt elements of the Guyana police force to do their political biddings. That's what's happening. And notice how they are quick to go and fire, let go of two junior ranks, let them go. But nobody's going to go at least make an effort to let go of the senior ranks who seem to have been somewhat complicit in this crime. They're not going to go after those big ones. It's always the small ones. They're going after the small ones. They're going after those little ones and intimidate. Terrorism. Jack Deere, intimidating, terrorism. And when they go and apply for a visitor's visa, they will see that they were charged for terrorism. All manner of stupidity, intimidatory tactics coming from the corrupt PPP regime. And you know why? You know what they want to do? Obviously, to cover up this crime. Cover up because they're close to the owner of the hotel. And they're not going to come out to tell you that there is a relationship, there's this friendship. That is why I kept asking. Let Irfan Ali tell you guys whether during the time that this little girl was reported to have been missing, whether he, Irfan Ali, during that day or the next day, whether he was in touch back and forth with the owner of the hotel via telephone. That's all I'm asking. He seems not to want to answer that question. The same question is for the commander. Was he in touch with the owner of the hotel during the time that the young girl, that little girl, went missing? Were they in touch with the owner of the hotel? Or were they in touch with anyone in high management or the managerial position at the hotel? That's all Irfan Ali needs to answer. That's all. That's all the commander needs to answer. And we might as well slip the commissioner of police in that too, whether he was in touch with the owner of the hotel. We can't leave out the crime chief as well. So we already know what transpired on that day. Had it not been for the brave ones who were videoing this stuff live for all of you to see, and I think there was a young lady, probably, what's her name? Laura, is it Laura? Had it not been for that young lady, had it not been for her, and maybe a few others, but mostly her, all of you were actually clinging to her lives. Had it not been for those brave individuals, I'm not sure we would have been where we are today, because that murder would have been covered up right there the very same day. And an innocent person could possibly have been killed. Orlando, whoever Orlando is alive today because of the brave ones who stood it out along with the father and the mother of that little girl in front of the hotel. They maintained that the daughter, the little girl, was there. So said, so done. She obviously wasn't in that pool. Now, let me walk you guys through some things. And I have to smile because of the skullduggery that's happening even as we speak. We'll get to the skullduggery. Notice that the haste in which this guy, he rushed down there to prove to you guys, in other words, in a not so subtle way, his attempt wasn't to seek to find the little girl. His video was done to divert attention from the hotel. Again, this is my opinion. He can argue otherwise. He can say that he meant well. Maybe he meant well for the owners of the hotel. Maybe he meant well for them. However, the videoing of the hotel and the pool was done, again, in my opinion, to divert attention and to make it appear that, hey, this is what's going on. And when I say make it appear as though this is what's going on, so he spoke about the pool. And to say that, no, look, she's not in the pool. We all saw that. It was live. The little girl Adriana Young was not in that pool. And this guy on the screen did that to prove to the people outside, look, she's not in the pool, she's not in the hotel. So, what are you guys doing in front of the hotel? Go home. I'm not saying this is what he said, but go home and let the police do their work. That was the intention from the beginning. That's exactly what they were all about. That was their intention. It didn't work. The father and the other folks kept saying that she is there, she is there, she is there, she is there. Now let's take you back to this this so-called demonstration by that guy that you saw on the screen. It didn't mean, it wasn't, again, let me repeat, it wasn't to do no helpful favor to the family of that little girl. It wasn't. Take a listen again.
That is saying 6, 7 and feet 6 inches, 5 feet 5 inches. If you look at it, right? They're saying 5'5". They're saying 7'6". They're saying 8 feet. So for 8 feet is reasonable depth for a pool. So you would have to go in and check in the pool, right? The young lady is not in the pool. So it could be ruled out that she drowned.
So we saw that. We saw that. It could be ruled out that she drowned. It could be ruled out because he was there on the spot. Maybe he got a call. Maybe he should say to you guys, since he likes to talk too much and trash. But maybe he should tell you guys whether he was called by the owner of the hotel, who called him and say, come on down here. Now, let me get to the point, and I'll let you guys know how wicked this corrupt PPP regime is. In 2020, let me walk you guys through this. Let me just walk you guys through this, and let me show you guys something. In 2020, Doubleday Guyana Skylark Hotel, they hosted, this was December of 2020. They hosted a Christmas party at this very hotel in December of 2020. And let me just let you guys know that they have since rushed to remove all of the evidence that showed that government ministers, of course, of the PPP regime, were there at Doubleday Hotel. Now, I'll let you know who were there. And they think that they're smart because they're rushed to remove every evidence, every single evidence, linking them to the owner and showing that relationship. They deleted everything, guys, right? That is what they did because they think they're smart. So at this function in December of 2020, guess who and who were in attendance? Of course, the First Lady was there. This is the same First Lady. She said that she was waiting and she wanted to see what happened, and she didn't do anything. She didn't say anything when the girl was missing, even when it was discovered that she was murdered. This is the same First Lady who said she wanted to remain quiet and so forth. Was that the real reason, guys? Or is it that because she is friends, according to information, friends with the owners of the hotel? Because she was there, at least we know, the evidence is there, she was there in December of 2020 with the folks at the hotel there, and they were distributing toys. But they have since rushed, as I have said, and I'll leave this for now. I'll leave it here for now. They have rushed to remove the evidence. I'm not saying that they in the corrupt regime, but someone did. Someone did, but they're not smart enough. Now, on the day, December of 2020, when the First Lady attended this function, she wasn't the only one. Of course, they were going there. Of course, they would say that she is the first lady of the country and everybody can have a right to invite her to functions. She has gone to lots of functions. Fair enough. I don't want you guys to get me wrong. Fair enough. She can go to all sorts of functions. But because of the relationship with Double D and the elements of this PPP regime, the hierarchy, Irfan Ali and others, the people are asking questions. And the main question is whether, because of this relationship that they have with the owners of Double D, whether this is the reason why the investigation has not happened when it should have happened. The little girl was discovered missing sometime around 1 o'clock or a little after 1 o'clock. It wasn't until after 9 that police started to go there. Why the 8 hours apart? Why the 8 hours difference? Why the 8 hours of silence? Is it again? And all I'm doing is asking questions, mind you. This is not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just asking questions that whether it is because of what is said to be a close relationship between the quote-unquote president of Guyana, the first lady, and other ministers of the government, the relationship that they have with the owner of the hotel. What is it? What is it that you guys, we're not, and then they rush to say, and Jagdeo and others, they love to say that they are listening to what people are saying on social media, and people on social media are trying to divert attention. At least we don't do that here on 107.1 FM. We're showing you the facts. We're saying to you that in December, the first lady was at this same hotel, and she was distributing toys. This is the same first lady who said, hey, wait a minute. She didn't say anything because she was giving some time and all these things. The first time we were hearing that garbage coming from that first lady who didn't want to say anything and all. But after she was dragged out, after she was called out, people on social media were asking, why is she so silent? Why is she so silent? Why is the First Lady of Guyana so silent on the matter? As a result of shame, she finally came out and she said, whatever, she said. But what they have to say is whether they have this close friendship to the owners of the hotel. Now let's continue. On this very day, December of 2020, guess who else was there? Oh, yeah. He was there, the same guy. I'm sure probably he was there after that and all, because you know the hotel is notorious from what we've been hearing, mind you, from what we have been hearing. Now, the same event in December of 2020 that the First Lady was at, this guy, yeah, he was also there. He was there at the hotel at that same Christmas drive. December of 2020, the same thing. He was there. And then he rushed back after the little girl went missing. He rushed back pretending that he's there to do something good, looking for the little girl. And so the question is, was he really there in order to help the search for the little girl or to divert attention away from the hotel? And the question is, what does he know? Did he know something at that time he did this video? That's the question. Now, it's not accusing him that he knew what happened to the little girl at the time he did the video. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just asking a question. What did he know? Did he know anything at all? And was this video done to further cover up a crime? And what's his relationship with the owner of, or owners or whatever, of the hotel? Those are just questions I'm asking, mind you. Questions. No accusations at all. Just questions. Now, after he went to the hotel now, this is what he did. After this whole big toy drive back in 2020, and then suddenly he turned up at this hotel here. Suddenly he turned up at the hotel. Not to interview the parents or talk to the folks. He went straight inside. Was it an agenda? Was it an attempt to cover up? And when he went into that hotel and he did that video, what did he know? What was discussed? Because he could not have walked right into that hotel like that, mind you. He could not have walked right into that hotel, take his camera out, and start videoing like that. There was a plan. And the question was, this guy critic, was he part of that plan? Now, he has to say whether he was part of a plan. He has to also say whether he discussed anything pertaining to the disappearance of the little girl with the owner of the hotel. That is what he needs to tell the public. Now, he went right ahead and he did this. Who gave him permission? Was it the owner?
That is saying 7 feet 6 inches, 5 feet 5 inches. If you look at it, right? They're saying 5'5". They're saying 7'6". They're saying 8 feet. So for 8 feet is reasonable depth for a pool. So you would have to go in and check in the pool, right? The young lady is not in the pool. So it could be ruled out that she drowned.
So did you guys hear that, right? You heard that. He now becomes a police detective. He showed everybody the pool. We all saw the girl was not in the pool. Birdnest was there. His camera was there. Again, apart from asking who gave him the permission, did he get permission from the owner to do that? The owner seemed comfortable, assuming that that's where he got his permission from. We're grown-ups, right? They weren't granting the police permission to search the premises. That's what we've heard. They weren't allowing the parents and the grandmother and others in the hotel to help with this search. Because remember, there's nothing illegal. If you have nothing to hide, and the parents and other relatives and friends are saying that they would help to look around to see where this little girl is. And now my antenna sticks up. And I asked this question, why would the owner of the hotel not want to allow or didn't allow the parents to do the kind of search that they so badly wanted? Why? These are all questions, mind you. Why? Why? And why? And because of all of these whys, people are going to speculate. People are speculating all sorts of things, and you cannot blame people for speculating. The only reason why people are speculating and all sorts of antennas have raised, it is because of how they managed, how they attempted to distract attention from the hotel. And all of those question marks lead to the speculations of people. You cannot blame people. But what the PPP regime wants to do is to throw water on everything, to make it look as though those who are speculating are wrong. They have some sort of hidden political agenda and all manner of things, all sort of excuses upon excuses upon excuses, and no direct approach or energy towards a proper investigation. They're not interested in that. All they want to do is to go after individuals and persecute them. The little ones, a little guy running away with a toilet that probably never worked, or maybe a toilet that's possibly evidence, who knows? Another guy rolling up a chair. Another guy got a phone that doesn't work in his hands, just doing his skit. Because people are hurt. While it might have turned out to be, the guy with the phone and it's not plugged in, the guy may have been a bit jovial, but he was serious. People were seeking answers. That's all people were doing. Now let's head back to this day now. the December 20th, when the First Lady, Ali, was there, and she was there as a result of the owners inviting her for this toy drive at that hotel. And she was there. So the question is, she needs to say, what's her relationship with the owners or owner of the hotel, or the owner and his wife? What's the relationship? Is there a relationship? Again, that is all I'm asking. And it is okay for people to be friends with business people, and it happens in Guyana. But in this situation here, I'm reading in a little more, because remember, it is the First Lady who never came out publicly when this matter was actually fresh, so to speak. She came out after the little girl was found dead, after the little girl was murdered. And then she was forced to come out with a statement. Why? Now, on this day as well, guess who? The 2020 December, guess who else was there? Guess who else was there at this place? Oh yes, Priya Manik-Chan. Priya Manik-Chan was there, and she spoke for about 3.5 minutes. She spoke about the situation and the hotel and how they installed regime at that. So yes, Priya Manik-Chan was there. Let them come out and deny that. That's all I want them to do. Let them come out and deny that she wasn't there. She was there. She spoke. Of course, she had on a dress, right? And she spoke. But suddenly the evidence just keeps disappearing, because they do not want the public to know that there was this connection and this friendship. So here is the question now. Here is the question. Again, people are invited to go anywhere, and government officials, whether installed or not, I'm not saying they don't have a right to go places. That's not the issue. But they were there. And they're trying to cover up, and maybe not them, but whoever it is that's deleting all of the evidence to link these people in the PPP regime to the hotel owners. That's what's happening. Now, let me say this. Priya Manik-Chan was at the scene. We all know that. You saw her there, right? She was at the scene. Look, she's standing there with the father of Adriana Young. Standing there. The question I have for Priya Manik-Chan, before she got there, was she in contact with the owners of the hotel? Or were the owners of the hotel, maybe the owner of the hotel, made contact with her? And she jumped into her vehicle and headed right down there, all the way there. Again, these are just questions I have. No allegations, no accusations. I'm not pointing fingers to say that, yes, it happened. I'm just asking some questions, because I've indicated earlier that Priya Manik-Chan was there at the hotel in 2020. She spoke really nice things about what was happening then at that very hotel. At the very hotel. And so I'm showing you guys the people who were there in 2020 and probably after, who knows? We'll get to that though. They rushed to be there at that hotel when the little girl was discovered dead, murdered. I've shown you, I've said that the Bird Nest guy, Critic, was there in 2020. He had a little piece of camera doing his stuff. Priya Manik-Chan was there. She spoke. She spoke at that function in 2020. And now the little girl was discovered murdered. Priya Manik-Chan rushed to the scene. She rushed to the scene. Again, I'm asking the question. Was she in contact with the owner or owners of the hotel before she rushed to the scene? And after she rushed to the scene, The question is, was she still in contact with the owners of the hotel? Priya Manichan will have to answer those questions, not me, because people want answers. That is all. Again, that is all I'm saying. Priya Manichan, it's up to you to respond to those questions. Of course, we know that you were there in 2020. We know that you were there a couple of days ago, hugging up the family members and so forth. And a little bird is whispering that Priya Manichan may have, she has to say whether on that same day she hung up and she showed some sort of sympathy, or some may say crocodile tears, but I'm not going to go that route because she was there. Whether on that very day she gave this guy, the father of the child, and I'm not insinuating anything at all, I'm just asking a question, whether she gave him a brand new phone and what was the reason for that. Whether she gave him a brand new phone on that day. Again, that is all I'm asking. I'm not asking any other question as it pertains to that. I'm not insinuating anything. But if she gave him a brand new phone on that day, what was the purpose of that? And why did she? And where did she get that phone from? Again, they're just questions. This is not propaganda. And I'm trying to be very, very careful with the information that I receive from folks who are close to Priya, folks who are close to the PPP, and people who have their ears on the ground. Hence, I'm asking this question. It's just answers I'm looking for. Priya could say, Ben Shop no, or Ben Shop yes, or Ben Shop it's none of your damn business. But since she's a public official, it is everybody's business. So this is not a private matter. According to information, Priya Manichan, on the day she visited and she was hugging up and so forth, a brand new phone was given to this guy, the father of the child. That's all. There's no sinister reason that I have as it pertains to these questions. This is not being insensitive. I don't want to, especially towards the father and the mother and the family members of that little girl. But I'm just curious about whether Priya Manichan gave him a phone, a brand new phone or not. I'm just curious about that. And then I'll probably let you guys know why I'm curious. That's all. So Priya Manichan was there. If you're now joining us, of course, it's 47 minutes after 12. It's Friday, the 2nd day of May. Let's move on now. So we've established that in 2020, December, a critic was there, and then he rushed back recently to do a video. We have already asked questions why he did that video and whether he was called by the owner or owners to do the video. Priya Manichan was there. We've already established that. Well, they can't deny it. I want them to deny it, by the way. They have since, not them, but someone has removed all the evidence. But they think they're smart. Now, the next, we've established that there's a connection because the first lady was there in 2020. You don't just show up to somebody's business like that unless you're properly invited. And people invite people at their business only if they're comfortable with them. Now, if you're not comfortable with somebody, you ain't going to invite them, right? But they were invited. They have to tell the public what's the sort of relationship they have with the owner of the hotel or persons connected to the owner, whether his wife and his children or whatever. And so the first lady may have to answer that. That's whether she chooses to or not. But we're asking whether we're seeing a major cover-up or not. That's the question. Now, in 2020, same December, Christmas toy drive. Let's go back to Priya. Yeah. This is Priya. In my opinion, and you know, you can't. There was a reason why Priya attended there. And could it be that she was more focused on the owners, and this was just basically for crocodile tears, for the optics and these things? Because she spent a few minutes and beat out. Now let's head back on December of 2020. Guess who else was in attendance? Minister Indar. Minister Indar was also there. I have noticed that he sued Ubraj Narang, the former mayor of Georgetown. I don't know for what, right? But can this guy, and mind you, this was 2020 we're talking about, Christmas 20. You see the video there? Christmas 2020. You see they're walking in, and it was during the pandemic, and it was crowded. It was crowded. And the only thing, as they were speaking, they were concerned about, oh, they're glad to see people are wearing the mask, you know, and when we walked in, and if you hear them and so forth. And so Indar was there as well, but Indar got upset and sued Ubraj Narang now. I think about 60 million, whatever it is. He sued Ubraj Narang. Something Ubraj said, and he sued Ubraj. He sued Ubraj. Did somebody mention that there's a trench grapple with us? Is there a trench grapple? We just got a bell that rang, and usually when the bell rings, it's to indicate that there's a trench grapple. Is there a trench grapple with us? Just a signal, and we will definitely find that trench grapple. Quick. We don't allow them here at all to divert attention. No trench grapple. So if there's a trench grapple in the audience, let us know, and we will quickly dash that trench grapple in where. Marlon Thomas, tell us, is there a trench grapple? Of course, a trench grapple. They are not going to. They are not going to agree with what is being said because they know it's the truth. They know. So Jagdish Arjun is a trench grapple. You don't have no brain. And look how he spelled the brain now. He is telling me that I have no brain, but look how he say you don't have no. Guess what now? K-N-O-W. No. That's what he meant. No brain. These crappos are something else. You have K-N-O-W instead of N-O-W, brain. So, yeah, that trench crappo goes in the trench because obviously Jagdish Arjun has absolutely no brain. But yet, okay, straight in the trench. Thank you, Marlon Thomas, for that. We got a lot of trench crappos, anti-trench grapple guys with us. These guys come up and they make themselves fools, Vashti. So back to this guy in Indar. And so they have to answer these questions. What's their relationship with the owner of the hotel? I don't know why he rushed to sue Ubraj, but I gotta find out what's going on there, really. And so as we're hearing now, lots of different things. We heard that the owner was in the lockups for the 72 hours. There's no evidence of that. And usually when these guys lock somebody up or whatever, you will see that they lock them up. You will see that. You'll see the evidence. We're not seeing any evidence here at all. Are they protecting this guy, Donna Jonas? Are they protecting this guy, Shondell Griffith? Are they protecting this guy, Alethea? Are they protecting him? If they are protecting him, why? That's the question. Why? And why are they, the folks at Double D and maybe others, why are they ensuring that certain evidence connecting them to the PPP, why those evidence are being deleted? We understand why. We're big. We are big, but we're not stupid at all. And all the family wants is justice. All people want is justice. But all the corrupt PPP is focusing on is on calling people scrapes, and all these different things. People run away with a little TV. And now I'm not saying that that is justified, but you are putting all those police scrapes after those little fishes, so to speak. And y'all couldn't send all of those police to stop business at the hotel on the day that this girl was reported missing. Y'all couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. But now you're sending all of those police scrapes after those guys who are frustrated. Now, again, I'm not condoning anything. When people are frustrated, anything happens. The family members were frustrated. They were trying to get the attention of the police to look for their little one, and the police ignored them. The owner of the hotel, apparently, according to information, wasn't cooperating fully. If at all, I don't know. So lots of questions have left unanswered. And as a result of those unanswered questions, people are going to speculate. People are going to talk about all manner of things. They're going to talk about what happened to this little girl, and also whether there was a cover-up in the autopsy. Now, some folks may ask, oh, how could there be a cover-up in the autopsy? Now, here is what happened. Independent pathologist is not the independent pathologist. And the only independent pathologist that I'm aware of is the Dr. Collins from Delaware. He is the only independent pathologist. The other two was invited by the government. The other two, obviously they didn't do it for free. I'd be surprised. But if they didn't do it for free, it is pretty obvious that the government paid them with taxpayers' money. If so, how much were they paid? Now, the independent pathologist from Delaware should have been working with the family. That independent pathologist was there on behalf of the family. Dr. Collins was supposed to meet with the family, discuss private issues with the family. After the autopsy, the same independent pathologist, Dr. Collins, should have met with the family. Now, I don't know whether that happened or not. I'm not saying it didn't, but I'm just saying I don't see any evidence that it happened, that he met privately with the family, not just after the autopsy to say, okay, this is what we found, I'm beat out. There should have been a proper meeting with the family, the lawyer, to get to understand better what transpired. That's all. That's how independent pathologists operate. I have seen and been part of autopsy as an observer, mind you, a spectator. I saw, and as soon as the independent pathologist is done, they report to the family. They give the family their opinions. And whatever it is written, it is sent directly from the pathologist, the independent pathologist. A copy of that report is sent to the police. Was that done in this case? Now, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not coming up with any sort of speculation that is wrong or whatever. I'm not here to put a black mark over people's character and their professional careers. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just asking questions. Now, the other question is, yes, we heard that the pathologist from Delaware, Dr. Collins, is independent. Was he hired by the family? Was he hired by friends of the family? Again, that's just what I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Or was he identified by the government of Guyana? Was he identified by the government? The other question is, who paid his airfare? Who paid for his accommodations in Guyana? and whether he received a fee for his job in Guyana or it was done pro bono. That's all I'm asking. If the government paid for all of the pathologists, the one from Barbados, the one from New York, and the other one from Delaware, who paid? Forget about the other two, but specifically Dr. Collins, that everybody relied on and wanted him to be this independent pathologist that will be independent of the government of Guyana. And if the government of Guyana identified him, one, if the government paid his airfare to Guyana, two, if the government of Guyana paid for his accommodation, and if they received any payment for that job, again, all I'm asking are questions. That's all I'm asking. I'm not insinuating anything other than that. I'm just asking questions. And so if the government of Guyana paid for all those three pathologists to be there, then the pathologist, including the one from Delaware, cannot be described as an independent pathologist. You get where I'm coming from? Because in the past, ask Nigel, ask others, that when independent pathologists for a family member that wants, the family members want an independent autopsy done, the government doesn't pay for it. It is the family members who have to pool up little money, ask Joy Phillips a little $5, ask Donna Jonas for a little 10 cents, ask Estelle Ogle for a little whatever, ask Vashti for Bob, and that is how it's done. And then the independent pathologist now seeks to have a work permit. And then they will make that request to the Ministry of Home Affairs and whatever, maybe Foreign Affairs as well included, that Dr. So-and-so will be in the country and they would like to have a work permit. So an independent pathologist can't just be hired by a family and they just fly into the country just like that. They have to go through certain procedures. They have to have a work permit in order to function as an independent pathologist. So if the three independent pathologists were paid, quote unquote, independent pathologists, if they were paid by the government of Guyana, then the question is, can we still say that they're independent? Again, I'm not attacking their profession. I'm not attacking them as an individual or individuals. I'm just asking questions. Were they paid by the government of Guyana? And if they were paid by the government of Guyana, then they have an obligation to the government of Guyana, who happens to be their employer. They are not obligated to the family, the parents of little Adriana Young. They're not in no way obligated. What should have happened, assuming that that's not the case with the pathologist from Delaware, that the government actually brought him, paid for his airfare, paid for whatever else, assuming that's the case. What the family members should have done was to get an independent, a real independent pathologist who is obligated to the family, who after they get to Guyana will meet and sit down and discuss whatever with the family. They will get the evidence independent of the pathologist there for the government, Dr. Niyal Singh. I don't know what role he played. I don't know what happened with the body when it was taken to the funeral home. I don't know who visited. I don't know who did what. I am not going to speculate at all. I'm not going to do that. But when the independent pathologist got there, he should have done his job independently, away from the government pathologist. He should have been able to get and ascertain what happened. Was the body in such and such a state when he saw the body at the morgue? What happened? What marks did he see? Marks of violence were there. Was there any sign of cover-up? Again, I'm just asking questions. And those are things that the family members wanted to know. Now, I don't know whether that was discussed with the lawyer of the family, Darren Wade. I don't know. But I'm just saying that it is somewhat strange because I've gone through on a couple of occasions independent pathologists. Ask Nigel Hughes, when an independent pathologist goes into the country, you pay for it. The victims' families pay for it. They don't go and suck up with the government. Now, I'm not saying Dr. Collins and others sucked up to the government, but you guys got the point already, what's happening there. And so while all of you out on social media, oh, this, and you were expecting to hear X, Y, and Z, probably if there was a true independent pathologist, then we would have been able to hear marks of violence because we saw blood. We can assume that the little girl was bleeding. We saw also marks of violence on her body. How the marks of violence got there? Was she scratched? Did they comb the body for any sort of hair, other hair, whatever it is? Was there evidence collected, or was the body tampered with after it was discovered? Who had access to this body? Who visited her at the funeral home? All of these things should have been registered, because once a body is being kept in a funeral home, people just can't walk in and just, hey, I need to see the body. Hey, I need to see this. Hey, I need to see that. No. Who visited? And that's my question. Who visited the little girl and for what purpose? And why was it that the body, Dr. Collins, I read somewhere, wanted to see in advance, have the body scanned in advance so that he would be able to check out whatever the scanned image is before he got there. But that wasn't the case. Guess what happened? They rushed the body quickly at Balwant Singh's hospital on the very day this quote-unquote independent pathologist arrived. They rushed the body straight over to Balwant Singh's hospital on the very day that the doctor got there. What happened before? What was done to the body before? Who did what? And now these are all questions. So on the day now, they rushed, they got it scanned. God in heaven knows what happened after. And so they rushed now over to the morgue at the Georgetown Public Hospital and at that theater so that they can conduct the autopsy. Something isn't adding up. And you know what? Not just something. Lots and lots of things are not adding up. And maybe this is why I agree with folks who are calling for a real independent autopsy to be done on the body of Adriana Young. Now, I can't tell the family, parents what to do. It's none of my business to tell them what to do. They have to know what they want. They have to know what justice they want for their daughter. And from all indication, I can say that I see that they do want justice. But the politicians in the PPP are attempting to manipulate the minds of those grieving parents. And I say that with all due respect to the parents. They want justice. But what is being planted in the parents' head is that the people out who are fighting in their thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, probably millions of people, not only in Guyana, not only in the Caribbean, but around the world, want justice for little Adriana Young. They don't want to break Guyana up. Nobody wants to break Guyana up. Nobody wants to loot. Nobody wants to burn anything. Nobody wants to go after anybody because of their religion or because of their ethnicity. Nobody wants to do that. Unfortunately, that's the picture the corrupt government is trying to paint. And it is wrong. And we are seeing right through them. People are seeing right through them. I have seen people from every ethnic persuasion out there in their candlelight vigils. Whether it's in the UK, whether it's in St. Lucia, whether it's in Queens, whether it's in Brooklyn, whether it's in New Jersey, whether it's in Bartica, whether tonight I see they got something there at Alnis, whether it's in Linden, wherever it is. You don't even have to get a loudhailer to say, come on, there's a vigil tonight or tomorrow. People are going out in large numbers, regardless of political persuasion. Well, of course, they get some pakus will try to make it look as though this is not PPP. It is PPP. It is all about the PPP. It is all about politics. It is all about corruption in the Guyana police force. Had it not been that, then quite possibly the little girl, Adriana Young, would have been alive today. So many unanswered questions. But yet all those pakus in the PPP regime are focused on scrapes, and who is scrape head, and who is tug, and who is this. That's all they're concerned about. And then to tell you that they've arrested 100 persons, they've put out wanted bulletins for people, it's like you can't speak. They're the only ones who can speak. And I have seen some words and some language used by some PPP elements are far worse than the ones that they're rounding people up in Guyana, are putting wanted bulletin out for them and saying it's acts of terrorism. Something is wrong with the corrupt regime of Guyana. And we know what is wrong with that. They're not fit and they're not proper to run a country. And next elections, you guys in Guyana will have to make that decision. Whether you want these corrupt individuals to remain in office or you want them to be voted out. You will have that opportunity, providing that the elections will be free and fair, just as it was in 2015. We can't say that it was in 2020. We can't. But what we can say, there's evidence that they have been installed. And as a result of them being installed, we are seeing what we are seeing in Guyana. Bad governance, corruption, extrajudicial killings, corrupt agencies, whether it's the corrupt police force, lots of corruption. And you know what? It is not good for Guyana. It is not good for the people of Guyana. And more importantly, it is not good for our young people, where young people in Guyana are not safe because the police, apparently, they're not there to protect our young people, whether little boys and little girls. They're not there to protect the women. They're just not there to protect citizens. All they're there to protect is themselves, friends, and families. You cannot have a country run like that at all. Guys, I'm out of here. I'll be back later this evening. I'll have some guests on. They will talk. They will tell you about their experiences and how the police were involved in corruption and to divert attention from real crimes in Guyana. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later on. But before I go, there is a song, I think, but I'm not seeing that song talking about some Chinese supermarket and these things. Is that what it is? Let's see if this is it.
Shots are being fired in this direction.
No, not shots are being fired. It's a song, and somebody says the Chinese Association have taken umbrage to that, and rightly so. The song is basically depicting, it's supposed to be a song, which, in my opinion, mind you, is not an appropriate video, where they go into some Chinese establishment and all manner of things being done. And so I agree with the Chinese Association that that song or that video should not be aired. It should be looked into. Now, there's nothing artistic about robbery. There's nothing artistic about going into a place and robbing people. There's nothing artistic about that. And those of you who know the video that I'm talking about, I thought we had it here, but it's not. Maybe later tonight I'll show you guys what it is that we're talking about. Well, I'll be back later this evening, right here on 107.1 FM. God bless you, and you guys continue to keep the streets safe and peaceful in Guyana, even under the circumstances. Change is a must. So long.
Persons can do so peacefully, and they can, but blocking the road for hours is something that affects
Mr.
all the
Ali,
citizens.
I saw you blocking road. Yes, Mr. Ali.
I'm just telling
Mr.
you.
Ali, there are videos with you protesting, you being a scrape and a tug. Mr. Ali, this is not, listen, sometimes we gotta put our position aside.
No, this is not position.
No, we gotta put our position aside and place ourselves into people's shoes. You gotta understand, even those persons who were traveling, yes, they were inconvenienced, but they understood the reason. They understood the reason. We understand the inconvenience.
We checked this pool this morning. What? We checked this pool this morning. This young lady was not in this pool. This girl was not in this pool. This girl was not in this pool. She was not in here. We checked in this pool. The girl was not in there this morning when we come here. We went in this place. This girl was not in here. The girl was not in there, boy. What the fuck? Them put this girl in this pool, boy. The fucking girl went in there. We went in there just now, boy. What the fuck, boy? That's why they didn't want nobody come in the place. Them didn't want nobody come in the place. What? What? That girl was not in the pool. We was here since 7:40 this morning. That girl was not in the pool at 7:40. She was not in the pool at 7:40. What the girl knee has scrape up. Watch how this girl is. The girl knee scrape up. Clearly shows.
All right, we're still trying to show you guys that video, the video where a video that the Chinese Association of Guyana, they have condemned. And I just thought I'd come back in for a quick 30 seconds as we get that video up for you guys to see what I'm talking about and why it ought to be condemned. Because there's no room for unnecessary dotishness. Again, my opinion, no room for that. And no particular person or ethnic group or because of their religion or so should ever be targeted. We know that the government is doing that already, and we know who is the main target in that, what is called state-sponsored terrorism. But this is the video I'm talking about, and I wish to state publicly that I condemn it.
Chinese don't know who's we.
We afraid of the security. We afraid of the security. No, we afraid of the security. You feel it's joke I making, I serious, yeah. We afraid of the security. We afraid of the security. We afraid of the security. And I want to say it again because I can't getting it. Chinese don't know who's we. Chinese don't know who's we. Oh my God. Chinese don't know who's we. Chinese don't know who's we. Oh my God. Chinese don't know who's we. Chinese don't know who's we. Oh my God. Chinese don't know who's we. Chinese don't know who's we. We's legendary, AT, they don't like this one.
Pick up where you want.
They don't like this.
Pick up where you want, yes. Yeah, pick up where you want. Pick up where you want, yes. Yeah, pick up where you want. Pick up where you want, yes. Yeah, pick up where you want.
I'll see what I'm talking about. If Guyana is to get better, then certain things we cannot condone. Cannot condone state-sponsored terrorism, and we don't. And that's what the fight is all about. And in fighting against state-sponsored terrorism and standing up and speaking out against those sort of things, which is part of your constitutional right, don't ever let any government official tell you that you're on the wrong side. Just be careful, though. Be peaceful and do not allow yourselves to be used by those elements of the PPP regime who are planted in these things, according to information, to create havoc in the country. All of us want a peaceful Guyana. The only question is, does the PPP, do they want a peaceful Guyana? It's quite obvious, based on their state-sponsored terrorism and extrajudicial killings by the corrupt police force. There is still some hope because there are still some good ones in the police force. And if you have information, continue to share information. I'm talking about the police and those in the government as well. Continue to share the information that you have been sharing, whether here or whether in other individuals that you trust. I'm out of here for now. Again, God bless you.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%. Get your give public servant bless. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base. Then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear in the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barretons too, cause I done fed up. You done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the